right, good morning, everyone. This is Paul with Forex Smart Trade. Glad you could be here this morning. Our goal is to help people become financially independent by teaching them how to trade currency. Oops, hold on here. I got a little echo. There we go. By trading currency. And hold on, we still have some echo here. How do we get this shut off? If your sound is on, please mute it. If your sound is on, please mute it. Hold on a second. I need to figure out how to mute you. All right. All right, I think that takes away the echo. So our goal is to help you become financially independent by teaching you currency trading with our proprietary indicators and trading with our money. We want to close the gap between who you currently are and who you could be by trading. So let's get started. On this session, we gear it toward lights and typically only show trading techniques that we show to lights. So I like to work with a trading routine, and here's my trading routine. Review of yesterday's trade. We'll review last week's trade. We ended up taking 2 trades last week. One on the AUD USD, one on the pound dollar. Both closed. AUD USD was a 10-point trade using a 10-point signal. Pound dollar was using the thick orange line trade. Next, we want to check the news. So let's see what we've got coming up on the news. Today at 10, there is an announcement in the U.S. on the consumer price index. So it's 6:30 now. We've got 3.5 hours till then. If we were to see a 5-point trade, thick orange line trade, I might take that. I probably wouldn't take a 10-point trade using the dollar because we're getting too close. But we'll see. We'll see what the signal is and then decide from them. So that looks like it's the only thing we need to worry about. Let me resize these windows so we're using the full board. It's a bit early, but we will let's just take a quick peek and see if we have anything that looks interesting for a 10-point trade. Euro dollar, 10-point trade, just to remember, is we're looking for 2 pieces of information. One, we're checking the number that's associated on the scale of the thick orange line that ranges between 0 and minus 100. And if it's at 10 points with either end, that's part A of the signal. If we see part A of the signal, we then want to get confirmation by looking down at the majors and minors and confirming if all the lines are either below the oversold or above the overbought. In this case, we've got a minus 92. That is within 10 points of minus 100, and I've got all the lines below. So this is a good signal. When we take that trade, we want to take it when there is really under 10 minutes left in the hour, because we want the indicators to have a full 50 minutes worth of information in them before we take the trade. So Euro US is a good candidate. Here, pound dollar, we have a minus 100, which is part A of the signal, but we don't have the majors and minors below the thick orange line. So we don't have both indicators. So we're going to pass. Minus 28 isn't close enough to 0 or minus 100. We will pass. Minus 16 isn't close enough to 0 or 100, so we're going to pass. Minus 4 is close enough, so we have part 1 of the signal. Let's go down and look at our majors and minors. They're still in the channel, and they're not oversold. I want them up, touching the bought line. So we will pass. And USD Canadian minus 22. So that's not close enough. So right now all we have is the Euro USD for a buy. Let's see if we have anything from the other currency pairs. Euro pound. I've got a 0, which is part 1 of the signal, but I don't have part 2. Everybody's oversold still. Minus 24 doesn't qualify. Minus 78 doesn't qualify. Minus 10 is close enough. So minus 10 on AUD NZD, and I am I've got all 4 lines. Well, I got 3 of the 4 lines touching the black line. Actually, 2 of the 4. The black line and gray line, the minors, have started to already turn. So this is a prospect. AUD, NZD, NZD USD minus 40 is no. Euro AUD minus 77 is a no. Take one more look. The reason I'm continuing to look is because if we find something better than that Euro USD, we'll take it. Minus 44, not close enough. Minus 9, I've got part 1 of the signal. When I look down to the majors and minors, they're still all oversold and turning up. So, no. Minus 9 on Euro Yen, still turning up. Minus 83, not close enough. Minus 19, not close enough. And on the Canadian Yen, minus 12, so not close enough. So right now, on the thick orange line trade, we've got two prospects, the Euro dollar and the AZD NZD. Let's go back and see if we can, so if those still exist, when we get to 5 minutes left in the hour, we'll go ahead and take them. We'll probably take the Euro USD. Let's see if we've got a 10-point trade. 10-point trade. Now we're using a different signal. The signal is different than what we do with the thick orange line. I'm going to start with the majors and minors, and I want to see if they're oversold. That means they're below the red line, or overbought. They're above the blue line. If I see them oversold, then I want all the lines to be pointing up, and I want to see a double cross. So here on the dollar, Euro dollar, I don't have that. Pound dollar, they're in the channel, and they're more than halfway, so I'm going to pass. Australian US dollar, they're below the oversold line. They're pointed sideways, they're not pointed up. They have double crossed, but I don't have a steep of enough. I want them to be more pointed up. So I am going to pass on this. Dollar yen in the channel. Dollar Swiss franc in the channel. Dollar yen. Uh, it's below the line. They're pointing up. They're double crossed. They're in the channel, but they're not quite halfway. So when they're not quite halfway, especially the majors, I will consider that. So let's assume we've got all. I'm going to say that we have all three points off of this part of the signal. When I have all three off of this part of the signal, I then go to my TNTs and I want to see how many lines are moving in the same direction to be consistent with a buy trade here. So I've got the thin orange going up. I've got the thick orange going up. I've got the dotted blue coming down. When blue comes down, that means up. So I've got 3 of the 4. Thick blue going up. I don't get a point for that. Thick blue line going up means down. So I got 3 out of the 4. I want to have a minimum of 3 out of 4 out of the TNTs. So I have 3 out of 4. Then I go down and I look at the pressure. Here I've got down pressure, but it's starting to roll and green is on top. With green being on top, that's worth a point. So I've got a point here, 3 points here, 3 points here. That's 7 points. I need a minimum of 7 points to take this trade. So now that I see the signal, I need to get a little bit more information to decide if it's a good trade or not. To get that little bit more information, I am going to open up the USD JPY chart. So let's see if we can find that. USD JPY. And the first thing I want to take a look at is my support and resistance. Uh, 10. I'm going to drop another line. This is a 1-hour chart. On a 1-hour chart, I like the support and resistance lines to be roughly 30 pips distance. So now the first thing I want to take a look at is what channel it's been in, and I also want to take a look at the trend. So the trend, I'm going to take my linear regression tool, and we're up about here and down here. So we're trading into a downtrend. I'm going to remove this because it's a little busy, but you see that we're trading into a downtrend. I want to know how much room I have up to the next support line or resistance line. So take a look. I got about 23 pips going up. I've got about 14 pips going down. So here's my 60-minute chart going up into the channel, up, up, down, and green on top. If I look at my lower my lower time period charts, the 5-minute, I've got up pressure, we're overbought. 15-minute, I've got up pressure, we're overbought. And the 30-minute, I've got green on top turning up, we're overbought. On the 120, we've got down pressure with green on top, and we've got the majors and minors all pointed up, double crossed, and ready to enter the channel. We only have 2 of the 4 TNTs. The thick orange is going up, the dotted blue is slightly going down. So I've got the signal here. And I've got plenty of room going up. 20, 22, 23 pips. I'm going to go ahead and take this for a buy for 10 pips. I'm not going to take more than 10 pips because we're trading into a down channel. We've got a downtrend, so I don't want to try to go all the way to the top. During the course of the day, earlier today, it bounced on this support line, bounced on this support line, bounced on this support line, bounced on the support line, and then broke through. Came down, stopped out here, and now it's coming back up. So let's go ahead and take a 10 pip buy. So new trade. Again, to take a buy, first thing I want to do is open the chart, USD yen, and this has got a funny signal to it, so I'm just going to open a new chart, USD yen. I don't like the way that looks. USD yen. Here's the current chart. On the second row is new order. Click new order. Let me change my lot size. Now, again, to stay within our risk and money management, we can take a trade, and this is a demo account. We can take a trade up to, we call it 1%, but it's technically not 1%. If I move this decimal place here, the balance, 8,500, if I move it over 4 decimal spots, 1, 2, 3, 4, I can take a lot size up to 0.85. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take a lot size up to 0.85. And this is going to be a market buy. I do my trade in 2 pieces. Piece 1 is to do the buy or sell. Once I've executed the buy or sell, I highlight the open trade in the area down below the chart. I get it highlighted in blue. I right click. I go to modify. And we said 10 pips. So 10 pips is 100. I am going to put 400 points. I'm going to go 4 times for my stop loss right now, but we're going to go back and take a look and maybe we'll modify that. So here is the 10-point trade. To go back and take a quick look at in terms of what I would consider to be a better stop loss, let me crunch this up a little bit. I want to go 2 supports outside. So I would probably look at putting a stop loss right around here, 109.75. So we would have to break this support line and break this support line before I got stopped out. So 109.75, and it would have to be more than a little peek through. So 109.75. Let's go back. Take a look. So right now I'm at 1010. So I'm going to change this to 109, 109.75. And then I can see my take profit and stop loss. Now let's go back and take a look at our thick orange line, our 10-point trade. We are less than 10 minutes in the hour. Minus 98, so I'm not quite there. Just a point shy. Our other trade was AUD, NZD. That's on the next chart. Let's take a look. AUD, NZD. If you take a look now, we are very far from what we had before. So we don't have the signal anymore here. Let's see. Nothing here. -9, no. -9, no. So the only thing that we have that we're back at -90. Let's go ahead and take the 5 pip thick orange line trade right now. So again, the signal, just to review, -90. We're kind of sitting right on -90. I got all the lines below. So to do that, oops, we're going to open up the Euro USD chart. New order. I'm going to use my lot size, 0.85 again. You can see my margin level. I want to always take a look at my margin level, and I want this number always to be above 1,000. If I trade using that 1% of the cash in my account rule, so I'm moving the decimal place over 4, I can have 2 open trades at that amount and keep this number at about 1,000. So I'm okay. I am going to do a buy, and then I am going to right click along the line to highlight it. I'm going to go to modify. We want this to be 5 pips, and this will be 4 times that, so it'll be 20 pips. So when I put 20 in, because this scale is in points, I add an extra 0 to convert it. And on the 5 pip trades, I actually like to just do the math and make sure that I've got the exact 5 pips. So if I got in at 0.0835, I'm going to go to 0.08402, and actually 0.402, that's exactly 5, so we're good. So there are our 2 trades for this morning. When we get off the phone, I will put both, when we get off the webinar, I will put both on my live account. That is it. Any questions, comments? I have had some people about asking me doing a second session. If people would like to do a second session, we probably wouldn't do it at this time in the morning. We'd probably do it a little later in the morning on another day. Send me a text or a note letting me know your thoughts. We've got a question regarding trading pairs with upcoming news. Our indicators are are technically based. And what that means is they're geared to figure out movements in a normal market. Because the market goes down, it comes back up. When there's news items, our indicators can't predict that. So that's why we take a look at the news before we start. And if there is news on an item, we don't want to trade it. In this case, we've got news coming up on the Euro USD at 10 a.m. I did take a trade, but we're 3 hours away, and typically a thick orange line trade is going to close in the next hour. So I was okay taking that trade because we've got such a long time to it. If it was going to be a 10-point trade, 10-point trade might take from 1 to 3 hours. I wouldn't have done that on that. Other comments? All right, thanks so much for being with us today, and we will talk again next week. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.